My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is the copyrighted property of DHX Media Vancouver and Hasbro Studios. Please support the official release. Moonshadow Mystery is the creative property of me, Moonshadow Mystery the Changeling. How's every pony doing today? Well, before we get started, as many of you know, the UK has released early the final two-part episode of Season 6. Now, just so everyone's aware, I will not be doing an early viewing of that. Well, at least not this week. I might consider it next week or the week after. Well, actually, if I wait that long, it's not really an early viewing, but I'm going to try and wait a little bit longer. That way I'm not giving spoilers too early. But I am considering doing a reaction video. I won't be able to show the actual footage, but you might be able to get some of the audio. I'm not sure how that's going to work just yet. It's just a thought. Anyways, welcome to the Moonshadow Mystery Channel. Today we're going to be doing my first thoughts on My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Season 6, Episode 23. Where the Apple Lies. Now, the first thing I want to say about this episode is, honestly, it was funny. It was a good episode, funny episode, and it really gave us a little bit of character development on Applejack, Big Macintosh, Filthy Rich, and of all people, Spoiled Rich, whose maiden name apparently is Spoiled Milk. And yes, after seeing more of her, I feel that was a fitting name. Yeah, seriously. Compared to any, she is literally at the top of my hate list. But like I said, this is a good character development episode. Now, spoiler warning ahead for anyone who has not yet seen this episode before I go into any further development. Now, the episode starts off right around cider season. Apparently, Zap Apple season's already come and gone, and they're preparing for cider season. Now, Apple Bloom is getting a little bit more responsibility, which is great. She's getting older and she's getting more responsibility. Unfortunately, Apple Bloom in her, how to put it, in her enthusiasm, unfortunately puts Zap Apple Jam and apple cider in the same box. Well, same boxes. And as a result, Filthy Rich, who's supposed to get the Zap Apple Jam, gets an order of cider by mistake. Now, he does discover the problem, and they do rectify it. And he is very understanding and very apologetic. What follows is something we never expected. A backstory on Applejack about how she used to be the biggest liar in Ponyville. Like, seriously. I've not seen lying this bad since Angelica Pickles from Rugrats on Nickelodeon. That is redonkulous. For any donkeys who may be listening, no offense. But, all jokes aside, this was a surprise. But, the more I think about it, even though this is my first viewing of the episode, the more I think about it, it makes sense. Going back to Season 2's starter episode, where we got introduced to Discord, and seeing how he twisted the elements into their polar opposites, seeing how Applejack responded each time she lied, that makes so much more sense. It wasn't just that she was shocked that she was lying, it went deeper. It's almost like she felt as if she was reliving a horrible moment in her life. And this makes that make much more sense. It gives it more, what's the word? More, not depth, more, what is it? It makes it feel, I don't know, like more context. That's the word. So, what follows? Well, turns out Big Macintosh used to be a huge speaker. I mean, we've seen that he's a deep thinker, but it turns out that all stemmed from the fact he used to speak constantly. Like, everyone's met that one person where no matter what, when you're talking to him, you can't get a word in edgewise. Yeah, that's Big Mac. Or at least that's what Big Mac used to be. Well, needless to say, Applejack had a similar situation as Apple Bloom, only she did it on purpose. To borrow from Jeff Dunham, or more specifically to borrow from Peanut. What the hey? Now, again, this is Applejack in her absolute youth. And when you're young, you make mistakes. What follows is an extremely convoluted series of lie upon lie as Applejack tries to rectify her mistake of promising Filthy Rich 3 barrels of cider early so that she can potentially show that she has the know-how and the business savvy to inherit the right to run the farm. Well, I will say that Big Mac was in the right during this, but at the same time, I can see where the show went. During the whole time, he's going on and on about how ideas are great and all, but you can't go plowing a field with them. Nope. And, well, needless to say, Applejack don't really take too kindly to that. As far as she's concerned, she's an apple of thought. And unfortunately, Big Macintosh is a pony of far too many words. Yup. Well, anyway. Convolute lie after lie. You know, it's not really lie after lie. It's like a lie that just continues to get worse and worse and worse. Applejack goes back after Granny Smith finds out to try and explain that, you know, despite her initially promising it, it's not in the cards. And out of fear that he will cut ties, she lies and says that the reason they can't is because Granny Smith is sick. Now, the orchard itself is sick with a vegetation disease called apple blight, which apparently hinders the growth and the quality of the apples. Now, it starts off with Granny being sick, then Granny being hospitalized with a bona fide case of apple blight. Which is weird. But, you know, kids lie with strange thoughts. Anywho, it's kind of a predictable storyline. Filthy and Spoiled go to the farm first, learn that about Applejack's new lie, and then head to the hospital. And the whole time Applejack is trying to tell this lie, she keeps having to juggle Big Mac and his talkativeness, Filthy Rich and spoiled milk, and Granny not ruining everything. Well, it all ends up at the hospital with Applejack finally telling Big Mac how she feels about him talking all the time, and we get what historically is his very first yep and his very first nope. Now, I will say, as far as designs go, I actually liked a lot of the designs. Showing younger, even spoiled milk, as much as I hate the character, or more much as I hate the personality of the character, she is well designed. I do like her younger version a lot better than her older version. I don't know, there's just something more appealing about it. Still doesn't change that she has a horrible personality. I've not said it on this channel, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't matter how nice looking you are, if your personality is as nasty as a rotten log, you ain't a good person. And that hits home for me because I used to not be a very good person myself, personality-wise, and, well, we change, we grow. Anywho, things escalate very fast as Applejack convinces Big Mac that the best way to make this all go away is to have him get on a gurney, cover it with a blanket, and pretend to be Granny Smith with a few mumbles and such. And this seems like it's going to work until the hospital staff takes Big Mac to the operating room. And it's not really an operating room, per se. It's like an operating cinema. I don't know what it's actually called. It's the room you go to where you're having medical students and other physicians and all observe the procedure in order to take notes and have a better understanding of it. Well, let's just say if Applejack hadn't have spoke up, Big Mac would be missing a hoof right now. Yeah. Now, I will say this. I got a lot of insight into Filthy Rich, and as much as I hate how the Legend of Everfree portrayed Filthy's human form, his human counterpart, the pony Filthy Rich is a magnificent character. Now, we've seen a lot of this in previous seasons. You know, he's a good guy. He's a stern businessman, but he's a good guy. He's understanding. He's considerate. He has a strong sense of, you know, being a man of his word and taking other ponies at their word. The only thing I can't understand is this. How did you end up with spoiled milk? Why would you get engaged to someone like that? Why? Oh, yeah. Confusing me in ways I can't understand. I'm so grateful I grew up with all that, because otherwise I wouldn't have had that to fall back on. But seriously, how did one of the most well-developed and genuinely nice stallions in the series get engaged to one of the single worst mares ever? Now, again, it wraps up rather nicely where, and Apple Bloom sums it up very, very nicely. She sees the lesson and she learned from it. And it's a very important lesson. No one starts off perfect. And sometimes the best way to grow and learn is to make a few mistakes. I could not have possibly expected the show to say it better. It was a wonderful lesson, and showing it in this way is probably more relatable to the younger audiences and to those of us in the older audience as well. And I have to admit, I laughed at the end. It was like, plus, I also learned who really runs the apple farm, Granny Smith. And Granny being Granny ends it off, all on a joke, playing to the story with cider. Now, there is one little thing that concerns me. And it doesn't really concern me extremely, but I don't know. There was no sign of baby Apple Bloom. Ever. Now, this is interesting because we were all given the impression that by the show staff, Lauren Faust especially, when she was still on the show staff, that Applejack and Big Mac's parents had passed away before the show's start. If that is in fact the case, then where is Apple Bloom? I mean, it's just a nitpicking thing, but I would have liked to at least seen that Apple Bloom is around. And I can just imagine the Tumblr blogs and the headcanons of, oh, Apple Bloom is really Applejack's daughter. No. I really don't think that they would go that route, because there's been a lot of fans who've said the same thing about Sweetie Belle, considering her coat and mane matches Rarity's a whole lot better than it matches either of her parents. And I just don't see it being like that. Maybe we'll get further development down the road. I mean, we only got, counting next week's episode, 3 episodes left in the season. So maybe we'll get a little more development. You know, I didn't expect the show to give us this kind of development this late in the season, but this was a good, lighthearted, moral-heavy episode. It's extremely good animation. The dialogue, well, a little bit cringeworthy at times, just due to the context. I mean, it wasn't bad cringe humor, it was situational, and that makes a big difference as to whether or not it's enjoyable. Cringe for the sake of cringe, and cringe for the sake of situation. Now, I have to admit, I did find it a little funny that Big Mac used to be this talkative. You just never get the idea that he's the kind of pony who's going to talk till you can't get a word in edgewise. And this was a nice, good way of addressing why he's the way he is and why Applejack's the way she is. I loved the character development all around. The only issue I have with this episode, and I've said it already, spoiled. Spoiled milk rich. I just don't like her. I don't think I'll ever like her. Of course, I said the same thing about Diamond Tiara, but Diamond Tiara redeemed herself. Spoiled is the epitome of the type of people I hated growing up. Ugh. Anyways, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This has been my first thoughts on Season 6, Episode 23. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please click the like button down below. If you disliked the video, I please encourage you to click the dislike button. If you have any comments, critique, or suggestions for future videos, I would like you to please take a moment in the comment section to leave that information. This is how I want to be able to improve on my quality of my videos and on what I do in my videos, and I'd like to see what you think. Maybe one day down the road, when I get my programs figured out, I'll be able to do a much higher quality video. Until then, though, I hope you can continue to endure this with me. Now, if you want to see more videos like mine, or like this one specifically, you can click my name down below and go to my channel in order to view previous content. If you like what you see and you like this video and want to see more, please feel free to click the subscribe button. Before I log off, I'm going to take a moment to bring up this title card that I created. I've featured it in a few videos already, but I'm going to put it up here so that y'all can see. If you have anything that you want to send me, questions you want to ask that might be featured in a video someday, if you want to check out my creative content outside of YouTube, you can contact me on Facebook, message me on Skype. You can go to my DeviantArt account to see my other creative content. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of an issue here. You can follow me on Twitter, where I'll occasionally leave tweets about what's going on this channel, what's going on DeviantArt. Or you can send me an email to the Gmail account associated with my YouTube channel. And I will take the time, as I'm able, to respond to the messages as I receive them. So, once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day in order to check out this review. As I stated at the start of the video, please please support the official release on Discovery Family and Discovery Kids, depending on where you're at. The show staff work really hard to meet My Little Pony Friendship is Magic for everyone to enjoy, and they deserve to have, their content, they deserve to have it viewed properly. Now, if I can get the video for episode 24 early, I will be attempting to view it and give my first thoughts on it ASAP. It may not be until this next week when it officially airs, but I will be trying to get the rest of the season done as it airs, so that, we can hopefully avoid as many spoilers as possible. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate it. This has been Moonshadow Mystery of the Changeling on today, October 8th, 2016. I'm going to finish this off by saying what I say every video. Don't go changing for anyone but yourselves. Thank you, and have a pleasant rest of your weekend, everyone. Take care.